we're only right now, if we look at the numbers here that we do have for the subscribers on, let me pull this up. On YouTube, we're at only 2 away from 10,000 subscribers. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed. It is beyond my wildest dreams as far as getting this channel up to this point, mainly because it's so very niche, right? We're only talking about the Bitcoin miners here, Bitcoin itself, and I didn't know how much interest was going to be in there. This was something that I was interested in, and I got into it obviously during the pandemic. I was bored. I wanted something to do during my time. I couldn't go outside, couldn't do other things. So I started this kind of doing that. I was also investing in the miners at that time as well. So I kind of did it, and I am beyond expectations as far as what I thought this channel was going to reach to. So thank you everyone here for coming in, obviously watching this, subscribing as well. And we're going to wait for a couple more minutes here and let everybody else join in as well while we wait. Oh, we actually went down one. Okay, so we had somebody else come off here. Not a big deal. We're pretty close here. I'm still excited as heck on this, but it's actually an exciting day also in Bitcoin. That channel, I wanted this one over here. So Bitcoin today is up almost 5%. It's at 4.93% today on the day right now. It's at 47,500. It's been a fantastic day here for Bitcoin. The miners are also doing pretty well. We have a couple that are doing really well. You got Cypher up being 13%. Cleanspark, obviously, with the numbers that they reported yesterday, is up huge, 31%. It's at $13.82. I'm up pretty close to being like at 300% profit on that one right now. I'm still holding on to it till later on this year or next year when I'll possibly sell. Then we also have Hut being up 11%, almost 12. Iris up 14. Marathon up 10%. Riot up 11% as well. So it's just a fantastic day out there. Let's go back to here. So while we watch this, oh, we're almost there, 9,999. So again, thank you everyone that has been subscribing. You guys can ask me questions. I'm going to get into, I'll see how I can do this. I'm going to try and get to your questions as well. Watch this. So, all right, let's get into questions here. If you guys have anything, this is really a ask me anything right now. So let's see what we got here. Trade Goat, you're welcome. Okay, good question here. What is your BTC price to start selling miners at? I'm thinking probably closer to around 100,000, right? Depending on where we go. My guess for this cycle is Bitcoin's going to get to around 180,000. That's based on some mathematical data that I've used from historical cycles and some equations on it, and that's kind of where I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So if we start getting close to 100,000, that's probably when I'll start really thinking about where we are. We'll also look at some charts and everything else to see if we are getting close to the peak. But with the spot Bitcoin ETF this time around, that may extend the bull run a little bit longer. So we'll have to see on that one. Let's see here. Cleanspark price target. Depending on what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking for all-time high, I'm thinking somewhere between maybe $50 and above $70, possibly, if not more than that. But it all depends on how well they grow, profitability, where Bitcoin goes, network hash rate goes. All that obviously has to play into it as well. Let's see here. Let me go back over here. All right, we're still one short for 10K. Let's see here. Let's see here. Cleanspark price target still 50 or above in 2025. Yes, I believe that's still the case here. Based on my numbers that I'm seeing here, I believe that they're going to get there. Let's see here. Okay, what do I do to unwind after crushing data daily? Spend time with my family. I play Call of Duty on the PS5. What else do I do? Bike rides, dog walks, things like that. What do I think about Solana Holdings? I used to cover them last year before things went south, obviously, in, what was it? Actually, yes, I was covering them in 2022, I think. And then they stopped reporting their monthly production updates. So at that point, I stopped covering. But at that time, they were also small, and they were struggling at that time. And I think they're still trying to figure out how to do things. And they're more transitioning more over into like hosting and things like that instead of self-mining. So I don't really have the data on them right now. Okay. Hi, Special. What's your background? Also, your favorite non-BTC cryptos? My favorite is probably going to be right now Ethereum, right? The second one after BTC, and then I have a bunch of Doge, so I'm kind of rooting for that one. If you guys watch my videos, you guys can see all the other coins that I have there. The other ones, I'm just waiting for them to pop back up. I'm selling them, done with all the alts, except for maybe Ethereum. I'll keep on that one and BTC, and that's it. As far as my background is concerned, right. I have a bachelor's degree in computer information systems. I have a master's in business administration. And then I managed a small Bitcoin mining farm for about 5 years in 2017 through 2022. Learned a lot of lessons from that, learned a lot from that. I know what it takes. Obviously, we're a much smaller operation than what some of these big guys have with multiple facilities and everything else, but I learned how to kind of forecast a little bit as far as what's going on with Bitcoin network hash rate. When are you profitable? When are you not profitable? Mining, all that stuff. So that definitely has helped me in this transition to investing in these Bitcoin miners because I can see what's going on with them all. I know what data I want to track to see how they're doing. So that's kind of my background there. And I started investing in Hive in 2017, 2018. I held on to it through 2021 bull run. Everybody was saying Bitcoin's going to go up to 100,000. It only went up to 69,000. I was holding, thinking it's going to go back up, didn't. So I learned my lesson there. So I've learned a lot of lessons over the years. I've also invested in the past, like 15 years ago, in penny stocks. That didn't end well. I ended up losing like $10,000 on that. So I said, never again. And then I just kind of played the market safe and had like the 401k with the S&P 500, all that stuff in that time being. But since I've learned more about this space, Bitcoin miners, I got into it pretty heavy here. After Cleanspark, what would you say is the best mining company? After Cleanspark, well, there's a couple of them. I think Bitfarms is up there as well as far as if you're looking at efficiencies, uptime, things like that. Bitfarms, Hive, obviously, but Hive is obviously smaller. They're not growing as much as I would like them to grow. Then you got Iris Energy as well in there. You got Cypher in there. Wolf is in there as well. But Wolf obviously has the debt problem. So there's things you have to take into consideration as well, not just looking at what is their uptime and other things like that. You got to look at the balance sheet. You got to look at other things that are going to be possibly a negative impact on the stock itself. Let's see here. We're still at 9,999. And let's see here. What do you think of CORZ Scientific and how they'll grow and perform in 2024 and beyond? Okay. I mean, they're obviously growing nicely here with the hash rate recently. They're pretty much second behind Marathon when it comes to mining. But then if you include also their hosting, BTC, they're probably even ahead of Marathon at that point. The only question we have obviously is I want to see what their balance sheet looks like at least a quarter or two in being out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then we'll see how they're actually doing, right? Financially, that's a big thing. And then as long as Bitcoin goes up in value, I think they should be fine. And I think they should be great. Right now, I think they are undervalued. But coming out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, I can see why they're kind of where they are right now. Why do you look so angry in the thumbnail? Oh, I don't know. I didn't think it was anger. I thought it was just more of a concerned posture, you know, looking at these miners. So that's kind of the way I did it. Let's see. Question. Do you expect Mara and Riot to increase after their earnings like Cleanspark has due to their HODL and them using the new FSB accounting rule? I do. So I think a lot of these miners are actually going to benefit from that. A lot of these miners also are reporting their fiscal year end 2023 numbers, which are audited. And then they also usually throw in on top of that bonuses, other things that they want to probably get on the balance sheets or get off the balance sheets for the end of the year. So it's going to be interesting to take a look at it, right? The thing with Cleanspark did the fiscal year end at the end of Q3, which is their end of Q4. And then they were pretty much, they put a bunch of crap in there as well. So that kind of hit them on the end of the Q4 numbers, but then Q1 numbers came out really good because of it. They put all that crap in on fiscal year. Let's see here. Oh, did we just cross 10,000? Let's take a look here. We did. So let's take a look at it here. How can you do this? Split screen. There we go. We are past that, guys. So thank you very much. It's been a fun journey. This is it. I'm done. I'm kidding. I'm not done. We still have a long ways to go before I think we're reaching new all-time highs and everything else. I think it's going to get interesting in the space more and more. Not that one. I wanted to go back to this one. Okay. So thank you everyone that has subscribed. Let's see here. Do any miners issue dividend yet? No, they have not. I think, what was it? DMG or Digihost a while back was saying that they may do dividends, whether it's going to be in the form of cash or BTC. But that was back in like 2021 when Bitcoin was jumping. But ever since then, I haven't heard anybody else say that they're going to do dividends on it. At least not yet. Okay, why do you think Riot is lagging so far behind Mara and Cleanspark right now? I think it's mainly because of their operations. The big thing with them is how much they curtail, right? I think Anthony Power said that they have a PPA for like 375 megawatts or something like that at the Rockdale facility. And if they go above that, then they're paying the regular price, the market price of electricity. And they are choosing not to do that, right? So I don't know what the market price is of electricity at that point, but it just seems weird that they can't mine for closer to a full month than what they have been mining. I can understand in the summertime or in the wintertime when there's obviously curtailment because people need electricity. But other than that, it's just concerning there. So I think once they get their, I think it's the Corsicana facility up and running, they should have the first building this quarter, I think, up and running. That will help them because I think they will have access to all the electricity that they need there potentially to get to 1 gigawatt. So that's going to be a huge boom for them going forward. But right now, they're struggling because of that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Safest mining company to invest till Q1 2025. There's a couple of them. There's not just a single one. Marathon obviously is one. Cleanspark is another one. Bitfarms. Who else do you have in there? Core out of bankruptcy also might be another one to take a look at. Who else do we have here? I said Cypher, Iris Energy. The ones that are basically growing right now and have a pretty healthy balance sheet and a sizable, well, if they at least have a hodl position, I think that's a good tell that they're going to be fine going into Q1 2025. Let's see. What will happen to the miners when Bitcoin doesn't go up after the halving? Well, historically, we've seen that Bitcoin usually lags after the halving, right? It's at least a couple months and then it starts going back up. This time we have the spot Bitcoin ETF. That's throwing a wrench into everything that we're seeing here on this. So could it be different? Possibly. Could we also be where it kind of just goes flat for a while? That could be it also. So it's, going to be interesting to tell. If you believe in the miners, let me just put it this way. If you believe in Bitcoin and you believe in miners going up after the halving event, I think if you do get some dips, I think it's a buying opportunity. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 years is anytime the miners have been dipping, I've been buying. One, because I didn't know where the bottom was going to be at. And then the other part was I just wanted to accumulate as much as I can before the halving because I know historically after the halving things go really well. Let's see here. Okay, Kevin, your analysis is far deeper than most investors probably. So how does the market look at each miner? More top line numbers? Yes. I don't know. I don't look at how the markets look at them. I look at them how I think they would be valued and based on what they're doing, right? Sometimes the numbers that I provide, like the estimates of where the stock price should be, doesn't go with what the market is seeing at that time for whatever reason, because it's bearish sentiment or something like that. But I just look for ones that are obviously operating well, growing, having a nice balance sheet, and then investing in those. And so far, I've been pretty good on that. Right with Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Iris Energy is the only one that's right now kind of lagging. Marathon has been doing great, but I don't like Marathon because of their operations. It's just not consistent enough for me. So, and they had a bad 2022, much better 2023. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. Let's see. Okay, question, potential highs or of Riot, Cleanspark, and Bitfarms. I would have to look at the numbers for them, but definitely a lot more where they are right now, at least 5 to 10x going past the halving event into 2020, at the end of 2024, early 2025, potentially somewhere in there. I think that's where they should be as long as they continue to grow their hash rate, and I think they'll do just fine. Right, if Bitcoin's going to go up at least where it's at, 45,000 right now, roughly. If it goes up, let's just say 3x to 150,000 in sometime in this year or next year, I'm expecting the miners to do at least 5 to 7x, if not better. Right, sometimes then you get the FOMO happening. You also have the spot Bitcoin ETF. That's going to drive price up even higher. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to watch all that play out. Let's see. Question. There are leveraged master and BTC ETFs out there. Considering that miners are leveraged play on BTC, do you consider these products a less risky alternative to miners? Yeah. If you go with like Bitcoin ETFs or if you go with Master, they're like pretty much 1-in-1. Master's like a 2x of what Bitcoin does typically. So those should follow Bitcoin a lot closer. Right? Bitcoin itself is volatile as it is right now, but the miners are double, triple that as you've seen it, right? Bitcoin goes up, miners go up 5x, 10x, whatever it might be. Bitcoin goes down, they go down 80, 90%. So I do think they are a little bit less volatile than the miners themselves are. Let's see here. Let's see if we got any other questions. Okay. Any potential still low value Hive? I mean, Hive has always done really well as far as operations are concerned. I can't bash them on that. The only thing I can bash them on is obviously what happened with the Ethereum, right, that they were mining. It went to proof of stake. That was, they were thinking it wasn't going to go through at that time, and they were planning for it to be a lot longer, right? At that point, they were making like 6-7 million just on Ethereum mining itself. Come next day, that was gone, right? And I think they were thinking it's going to go out a little bit longer. So then that took them a little bit longer to get things turned around for their self-mining with BTC. They're also trying to get, obviously, the high performance computing going, the AI stuff. So they have a lot of things going for them, and they've been really efficient as far as their use of electricity miners and uptime and everything else. So for that, they have been always great. The thing that I was looking for was growth, right? I want miners to grow into the halving event because I know what that's going to do to them come the halving event. So that was the only thing I had there for them. But otherwise, I think they're a really pretty well run company. Okay. Let's see what other questions we got here. Would love to see a revised portfolio of your top 5 miners. My top 5 miners are basically going to be, if I had to choose right now, it's Cleanspark that I'm invested in. Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and IREN Energy. IREN Energy is a very small percentage of it. But I would say add into that Marathon Riot as well. You could add in Cypher as well, possibly Core as well now also. And then I'd like to say you could add Terawulf in there, but they got to fix their debt. That's the only thing that's kind of keeping me away from Terawulf right now. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. Okay, thoughts on IREN Energy earnings next week. That's going to be a tough one because the latest data that we do have here for them was about 7 months ago from last time they reported their biannual earnings. I think that's one of the things that's actually driving or keeping the price down on them is one, not reporting the quarterly results, which I think helps investors know what's going on with the companies financially and everything else. And then also if they could start to hodl maybe a little bit, right? I think the hodl position that they don't believe in, I think that's also kind of hurting them there. But other than that, they're operating really well. So it's going to be tough to see. I think, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to speculate. I think if they can do a positive EPS, it's going to be really low or I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to say because it's just too tough. I don't have the data on them as far as going back, at least a quarter back. We're going 6-7 months back. Let's see. Okay, what's the end result of HUT? Should they have bought parts of CORZ during bankruptcy? Oh, yeah. I mean, they messed up royally here in, when was it, 2022, 2023. They just did not do what normal mining should be doing, right? They were diversifying into data centers and high-performance computing and all those things, which are fine. You want to diversify, that's fine. But also, they weren't paying attention to their core business, which at that time was Bitcoin mining. So in 2022, they still have the older machines, the 80, 90 terahash miners, and they didn't upgrade those at all. Didn't make any purchases on it. They didn't, pretty much do anything on those. The only thing that they did was they hodled everything that they mined from those machines and diluted shareholders, right? That threw me off. I didn't like that. I still don't like that. I don't like being a shareholder in a company that's basically I'm paying their operations for them to hodl Bitcoin, especially in 2022. There's times to do it and there's times not to do it. That wasn't the time to do it. Going into 2023, same thing, right? They saw the writing kind of on the wall a little bit and they started to look at mergers and acquisitions. How can they grow? So instead of growing organically, they were looking to obviously merge with the company, USBTC. I said at that time in the beginning, I wasn't too sure that was the right move. I thought their move might have been to grow organically themselves. They had a huge hodl position, everything else. They should have been working on that, I think, right? And then obviously with the USBTC merger now, I thought, okay, they're getting at least some additional self-mining with USBTC that increased their hash rate to about 7+ exahash there. So that was good there. They also have a diversified business. Maybe they can make this work. But now we're seeing what's come out in the last, 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks. J Capital report. You got Jamie getting basically fired. The board's going with a different direction. The new CEO doesn't seem to be too, what's the word I'm looking here for? I want to say something I want to say. Being too concerned with self-mining, right? He's looking at electrons, trying to make money on electrons. And he's looking to build the business around ways where they can have lower cost of capital, input it into something, and then have a higher return on it. That's okay. That's fine. You want to do that? That's fine. But you're basically losing out, I think, and maybe it's the right thing to do for them right now because they're so close to the halving event. I don't think they can grow that quickly, potentially. So I would have just said you got to focus on self-mining more, get that up, because I think that's what investors want, really. They don't really care about the managed services side of things as much as they care about Bitcoin mining, because they know if you mine Bitcoin at a certain cost, you're making it basically a lot cheaper to get, right? So Bitcoin's at 45,000, you can mine it at 17,000. There's a lot of profit there. Okay, so that's my take on that one. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. Yeah, why don't I buy new S21s? We just pretty much covered that. They've had, it seems like they switched their side of business things more to manage and everything else instead of self-mining. Let's see here. Questions. What's the target for Cleanspark before retracing? I have no idea. I don't day trade, so I have no idea what that might be. I can take a look at it possibly, but as far as where it might go in the next couple hours, next days, I don't really care. What I'm looking for is the next 12 to 18 months, and that's really what I'm focusing on. Let's see here. Iris versus Bitfarms. I would say both. Bitfarms has a better HODL position. They also report quarterly. Iris Energy doesn't, but they also have pretty good growth happening for them as well. So I would say they're both really good to get into if you can. I think Iris and Bitfarms are really undervalued right now. Let's see. Question, 50,000 weekend. Well, let's take a look, see what's going on there on the chart. If we look at, let me see, put up the screen here for you guys. It's at 47,000 right now, 700, we're up 5.4%. 50,000 would mean we would need to go quite a bit here, and that would be breaking our previous local high, at least at 49,000. So I wish it doesn't happen because I don't want to get a gap on the CME futures. So I'm hoping it kind of cools off on the weekend before it goes higher next week. Right? I don't like having gaps on the CME futures. Some people say it doesn't matter that they don't get filled, but historically, for the most part, they do get filled. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant about that part of it. Okay, let's go back to here. And over here, let's see what else you guys have. Okay, targets. Okay, so will you DCA invert taking profits when BTC reaches like 75,000? Yeah, that's probably the goal here. Maybe that's 75,000 for Bitcoin, probably a little bit higher, probably around 100,000. And I'll start dollar cost averaging out, basically, out of the miners. But we'll have to see the charts. We'll have to see what's going on with it. We can't just go and say it's going to be 100,000, I'm going to start selling. No, we have to see where is Bitcoin at that point on its usual path to all-time highs. How far are we from the next halving event, things like that. We have to take all those things into consideration as well. Let's see here. Trying to find another question here. Let's see. Covered Hive a little bit in like 20 minutes ago or something like that. I talked about it. I think they run a really tight ship. Wish they would just grow more as far as their own hash rate is concerned. I know that they stated they want to stay, I think, at 1% of the network hash rate. That's their goal. If that's your goal, okay, then you're not going to be a top miner possibly. Right, that's kind of why I had them in the beginning of 2017, 2018, did not sell them 2021, and then sold them just a couple months ago because I just didn't see the growth there. Let's see. Trying to find a question here. Okay, like I said, why I got out of Hive is mainly because the growth. I didn't see the growth that they had, right? They kind of stumbled with the Ethereum mining. That took them back a while, and then they're starting to reverse things, and they're starting to upgrade their fleet. They're getting newer miners. They're getting the T21s, I think, or S21s right now. So that's good. That's what we want to see. But I'd like to see them grow beyond try to grow beyond the 1% of the network hash rate that they're trying to keep at. I'd like to see them get to maybe 2-3% of that, right? We've seen Cleanspark in the last 3 years just beat a lot of miners that were in space for 6-7 years, if not longer, and just kick their butts, So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for growth because growth is going to obviously generate more BTC. BTC is going to generate obviously more revenue for them. That's going to generate more value for the shareholders. So that's kind of why on that one. Let's see what other questions we have here. Okay, we're getting. Okay, what's happening with Lux? They restarting their miners. I have no idea. Lux, I was also covering them last year, but then they stopped providing their updates, and ever since then, it's just been. I don't know what's going on with them. Yeah, it's a tough market to be in, obviously. Okay, of the microcap miners, which ones do you like, and which two would you absolutely stay away from? Okay. Argo, I would stay away from. They don't own any facilities. Well, they do own a small facility, but majority of the miners are held with Galaxy Digital. At their Helios facility that they had at one point, they sold back to Galaxy because they were in debt trouble. Stay away from that one. Another one I would stay away from would be Mawson as well. That one doesn't look great to me. I think that one might be on the chopping block here after the halving. What else we got? Argo Sphere is another one. Sphere doesn't have any facilities either. They pretty much host everything as well. So that one's going to be possibly in trouble there. Who else? I think DMG has a better balance sheet than Digihost. So I think there might be a little bit better there. But they're still very small. They're only getting like to 2 exahash. And that's with a joint venture, I believe. So it's going to be tough for the smaller guys, right? If they're not growing their hash rate, it's going to be tough for them. So those are high risk, high reward potentially, right? Bitcoin going up could lift all the boats up as well. But I think you just have to evaluate yourself, see what makes sense for you guys. I can't tell you guys what to do. But I'm just getting into like the miners that I see that are growing that I think have a good future going forward and possibly in those things. Let's see what else do I have here. Any other questions, guys? Let's see here. We are at 10,005 subscribers, so thank you again. And let's see, let's take a look at the markets here really quick as well. We'll take a look at the charts really quick on that one, see what's going on there. So right now, let's see, where's Cleanspark? Cleanspark is up, holy cow, 37%, $14.44. I mean, this thing is going crazy today. We do have that gap here between $10 and right there, $11.96. We'll see if that gets filled before we go up further, which might happen. But yeah, that's basically our new 52-week high here right now on Cleanspark on that one. Cypher is also doing really well today, 16%. Iris Energy also doing really well. It's up 17%, 5.97. So it's off the, was it 50-day moving average right now? So that's looking good. And like I said, they're way undervalued from where they should be. But because they don't provide the quarterly results and they don't have a hodl, I think that's keeping the stock back. But they're operating on all 8 cylinders, basically, as far as growth and everything else is concerned. I wish I would have been able to buy more of Iris Energy as well. Only have a couple hundred shares of those. Wish I had a couple thousand shares of those. But, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but I still have a little bit in that one. Okay, let's see here. Q&A, let's see what we got questions. Do you think Cleanspark dilutes again? Yes, they're going to dilute. They still need some more capital that they need to pay for the miners and to buy them more buildings. Buildings or, well, they can either buy out companies or they can buy out the buildings from companies. So they are going to have to dilute a little bit more here going into it. But at least with the stock price being up right now, we're going to have much less dilution as far as shares because they're going to be able to get a lot more for that money. Okay. Let's see here. If you were just getting started in the miner stocks, how would you allocate? I can tell you how to allocate. I can tell you the ones that I do like, which are Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Marathon, Riot, Iris Energy are the probably like my top 5 that I would possibly dollar cost average into. And then the other ones beyond that would be like Cypher. Who else do we have in there? Cypher. We got also, I mean, Bit Digital is kind of tricky there because they do the AI stuff. So I don't know how that's going to all work out for them. It should be profitable, but we'll see. Then you have also Bitdeer. Bitdeer, to me, is questionable. That company is just questionable to me right now. And then who else do we have there? I think that would be probably it. I mean, if you can get into at least the top 5, I think you'll do great. Let's see here. Are you expecting to buy the gap if it fills between that range? If I have cash, yeah, I've had to spend a lot recently for airline tickets for my wife and kids. They're going to be traveling here in the summer. That was costly. And then I got taxes I got to pay for and property taxes. So I need to save up some money before I can start putting money back into the markets. But I would possibly, yeah, because I still think that Cleanspark is going to be going up much higher. So I do think that that might not be a bad idea. Let's see. Okay, great comment here. Just buy a WGMI and you get all the miners. Yeah, but on days like today where you're seeing Cleanspark going up 37%, what's WGMI doing right now? Let me take a look at that. WGMI is going to be up. Oh, they're actually doing pretty good too. It's up 13% right now. Okay, so yep. I would recommend having at least a couple of your own miners and then having like a WGMI or another ETF that tracks the miners as well. Let's see. Okay, Eric is saying one of the biggest inflows of the ETFs today. Interesting. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, when will I stop buying miner stocks? When it doesn't make much sense, that I don't see a much bigger return than what I'm getting in now. So maybe if they start getting to like Cleanspark, maybe if it starts getting to like around $20 or something like that, I could still possibly get maybe a 2x out of that or a 3x, right? Depending on where it goes. Some of the other ones as well. So that's kind of where I'll be looking at that. And maybe I'll just use the cash that I would have put into the miners, maybe pay down my school debt at that point. But even though I think once I get out of these miners stocks here sometime in 2025, I'll be able to do that anyway. So, but I'll see. The solutions debt Wolf. I've talked to the guys there because we had some not issues, but we had just some misunderstandings between what I was seeing from what they're doing with their joint ventures and things like that. So I wanted to get on a call with them and just kind of get that straightened out. So I did talk to them a little bit. They did state, and this is public knowledge, you guys know all this already, that they're looking to pay down at least $40 million by the April 1st, and then they'll be down to like $100 million in debt left. They have to pay that off by the end of this year. Their goal is to restructure that debt if possible. If not, they're going to have to probably dilute a little bit to get rid of the rest of it or part of it and then restructure it as well on that side of things. See. What do you think Cleanspark will hit in this bull run? Excuse me. I think it's still feasible for it to get to around like $50 to $70, if not a little bit higher than that. But it depends on how much they dilute, right? Dilution is going to hurt them. Network hash rate is going to also hurt them if network hash rate goes up too high, right? It's going to generate less revenue for them, and depending where Bitcoin goes. So those are all things that are kind of little strings that are kind of controlling where the price of Bitcoin price of Bitcoin and price of Cleanspark and the other miners could go as well. So it's not an easy thing to do. We can kind of make some assumptions as far as where things are going to go in the future and look at it that way, but will it actually happen? We'll see. Let's see here. Bitfarms price targets, why are they lagging? How do you think this quarter will be, especially EPS positive? I don't know if it's going to be EPS positive, right? This is their fiscal year-end quarter for 2023. Like I've said before, other miners will, like Cleanspark has done also in Q for their fiscal year-end. They throw a bunch of crap in their bonuses, things that they want to just get rid of on the balance sheet. They put it all in there. And then they also have, what do they have? I mean, they did generate about 10 million more in revenue from Q3 to Q4, which is good. The other thing is the FASB rule now that they can revalue their Bitcoin holdings. That might help a little bit. So it's going to be close. If they are able to squeak out an EPS, it's going to be a very small one, I would think. But unless they don't put a bunch of crap in there like the bonuses and things like that, if they don't do that, they might be able to squeak out a positive EPS. Let's see. Is Crypto your favorite analyst? Yeah. Him and I go back and forth on some things. He's a big Mara guy. But, I enjoy the content that they put out. Some of the stuff makes me laugh. But then also some of the stuff makes me think also. So I enjoy that. And as you guys know, I don't block anybody on Twitter. So I do see their stuff from time to time, and I do interact with them as well. And we go back and forth, and it's all in good fun. Let's see here. Question is the is the halving baked into the price of mining stocks, or will they drop at the halving? Good question. Don't know, right? Historically, the miners were going down into the halving and passed a little bit before they started going up. This time we have the spot Bitcoin ETF that's throwing a monkey wrench into everything, like I said before. And then we'll just see where Bitcoin goes. But right now, we're seeing also miners getting positive EPSs, or like Cleanspark yesterday. And that's driven by the transaction fees on Bitcoin Network. That's helping them out, which we didn't have that prior cycles. So if that continues at least at an additional 5-10%, like we've seen here recently, that's going to be helping them out. So I think that might drive them up a little bit more as well. So it's tough to say. If we do get a dip, like I said, it might be a buying opportunity. Let's Okay, when a miner performs well, do you take some profit when you know it will dilute in the future and then buy the dips? No, I just dollar cost average in. I know they're going to dilute, and as long as we're getting dilution for good growth, I'm okay with that. And if we get a dip, like I said, I've been buying for like 2 years. From Cleanspark was at $9, Bitfarms was at $5, I think, when I was buying it. And I just kept buying it down into the lows of December of 2023. Or no, December 2022. Yeah, 22, lows of December 2022. And just kept buying it since then, some more. Let's see. Okay, what's your bullish case scenario for Wolf? Well, pay off the debt. Then we'll talk about the bullish case scenario for them. Right now, that's holding them back. But they should do really well. They do have good operations. They have good cost structures in place and pretty good growth going forward. They just got to get rid of the debt. Thoughts on future of Bitcoin? Well, that's an interesting question there. Okay, so Bitcoin obviously is going more mainstream every day that we are alive. With that, we're seeing obviously the spot Bitcoin ETFs being approved now. So it's going to become more and more of a mainstream, possibly piece of the trading platform, investing platforms for people in 401ks, pension funds, things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out in the long term. It's something that we haven't seen before. We've seen it with gold. We've seen what happened there. Could it repeat in Bitcoin? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. Will we see also these kind of big rallies and then bear markets afterwards? That's going to be also hard to tell, right? With the spot Bitcoin ETFs, everything else, people are hodling more of it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting time to see what's going on there. And then let's see here. But I think right now, my estimate for Bitcoin was 180,000 this bull run. We'll see if we get there. Let's see. Okay, to be honest, Mawson can go up. Wolf is not going bankrupt. It will do fine. Yeah, I'm not saying Wolf is going to go bankrupt or anything. I just think that the only reason that's being held down is because of their debt, right? Mawson is being manipulated right now because they don't have a lot of shares out. It's easy to manipulate them, and people are maybe guessing they're going to get bought out. But if you look at their numbers, look at their financials, they're not good. Do you have another job, or is YouTube your full time? Nope, I have another job. I do this as a part time. Actually, I had the day off today, which was kind of coincidence with getting 200 to 10,000 miners, or 10,000 subscribers. But I am a director of operations at a company, so I do that full time. Let's see here. Okay, so I know you can comment and commit a number, but if BTC retraces to 35,000, do you think the miners will be down by 50%? I don't think we're going back down to 35,000 Bitcoin. I think that ship has sailed. We're done there. I think we're going to keep going up here slowly, but surely we may have a little bit of dips here and there, but 35,000 is, I think, done for. Let's see here. Okay, I'm sitting on profit with Wolf. If they pay their debt in 2024, am I mooning in 2025? Possibly, yeah. Obviously, Bitcoin going up with the debt being resolved. Even if they extend the debt out a couple more years and get better structure on it, that's going to help the stock out, I think. Plus them paying it down 40 million and then maybe paying down a little bit more. Okay. I think that is it, guys. We've been doing this for what? Oh, how long have we been doing this? Can't tell. We've been doing it for quite a while. We've been doing this for about 35, 40 minutes or so. If you guys have any other questions, otherwise we'll call it a day. And just want to say thank you to everyone. We're at now 10,008 subscribers. So holy cow. Thank you, everyone. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick and miners as well. And then we'll probably call it a day if there's no other questions. Let's see. Cleanspark's still up 38% right now. That's huge. $14.51. Bitcoin is up 5.81%. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to the 48,000 mark. And then if we get past that, 49,000 might be our resistance here a little bit. We'll see on that one. Who else? Iris Energy is doing good again. Still 17%. Hut up 14%. So that's kind of good for those guys there. Riot up 13. Wolf up 10%. So this is definitely good. Iris Energy, like I said, they needed this pump. They were way behind on everybody else. If you just look at other miners like Bitfarms and where they're valued at, they're way undervalued from Bitfarms. And Bitfarms is undervalued too from where they should be. Okay. So that is it. 48,000. We got to 48,000 for the high, looks like. Okay. So great day today, and obviously the market's 10,009 subscribers. Thank you again. See if you have any questions here really quick. What do I want to do? There it is. Okay. Okay, what do I do for a living? I'm a director of operations at a company. I'll leave it at that. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's it for the questions. So again, thank you so much everyone for coming in. I really appreciate you guys coming in to watch this, for subscribing, for being Patreon members, doing all this stuff. That all supports what I do here. And I don't think if that was for that, I think my wife would have told me by now to get off YouTube. You're not making anything on it, so quit doing it. So I do appreciate it. You guys are obviously the reason that I'm still doing this. I'd be doing this in the background for myself just so I could invest in it, but with your guys' contributions and everything else, that helps, that I can continue to do this. Otherwise, like I said, my wife would probably kill me for spending too much time on the data and then doing the videos as well. So that's it. Also, tonight we are going to be doing a spaces with the Bitcoin mining stock guy, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name. Alan, I think, is on there as well. He's hosting it, and Bitcoin mining stock guy is co-hosting it. I'll be on there as well. That's at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll talk about all the news that happened, obviously, this past week, and the miners and Bitcoin and everything else. So that should be fun there. I'll probably end up setting up a link on Twitter for that, so you guys can join there as well. And that'll be it. Let me see if we have any final questions here before we go. Let's see here. Okay, and this is a good question. Let's see. Is your job related to mining or cryptocurrency at all? Nope, it is not. It is completely separate industries from that. But like I said, I managed a small mining farm for 5 years, so that's kind of where I have my experience from on that one. And let's see here. Okay, guys, that's it. We'll call it a day. Thank you again. Greatly appreciate you guys. Reaching 10,000 subscribers has blown my mind. I couldn't have imagined that this would ever happen. You know, being in this such a small niche community, it's very niche, and I'm just blown away. So thank you again. I'll see you guys later on tonight. We'll do a video on what's happening, obviously today, Bitcoin miners, everything else. We have, I think, Hive to report on as well. So we'll do that later on after I do the spaces on Twitter at 5 o'clock. So they'll be coming up probably around 8, 9 o'clock. The video will be out. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great night. Have a great day, actually. I'm used to saying this at night. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.